Hey traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. We're going to look at long-term time frames first, and then we'll zoom in as far as what to expect in the shorter term. I know a lot of bulls out there are feeling FOMO and wanting entries into positions. We'll go over what I feel are the best setups for bull entries at this point, and also what aggressive bears can be looking for in the short term. Stay tuned. So starting on the Bitcoin monthly time frame, we have our higher lows being set off the EMA 12 support. And again, it was just a beautiful alignment, watching our growth stock setting the stage as far as what we're going to be looking for. And we got it. So now the question is all about retracement and what is the most likely scenario. So if we do not see increasing bull volume, we will not break the all-time high. It has to have increasing bull volume if that's going to be on the table. If we do not see increasing bull volume, the most likely scenario is an equilibrium where we scout a lower high compared to the all-time high, then we scout a higher low, and a framework for that, again, going back to the stock world, Tesla. Massive breakout to all-time highs, pull back just above monthly EMA 12, there's your monthly lower high, and it's now just tightening up. So I know that monthly time frame here on Tesla, that if we set another lower high and continue tightening up here, that Tesla's going to have a very volatile end of the year or start of next year, depending on when this break occurs. But that is a framework for Bitcoin. So if we see some kind of massive news, and for me the massive news is BlackRock, Apple, Amazon, names of that caliber coming out and saying they've established a position, that could be a catalyst to cause a bit of a short squeeze and get us back into striking distance of that all-time high. But again, if you don't see that volume, and we aren't going to see increasing bull volume this month, at least on Coinbase. And I can already say that because we're less than 25% of the way into the month, and we already have pushing 50% of the previous month's total volume. So that's a good sign. Increasing from one month to the next, extremely likely. Question is, what does September look like? Do we see increasing bull volume again in September, or does it start to fade out as we set that lower high? As far as our retracement, at this point, we've gone about 45%, a little more, almost 50. So 47,000 is the 50% retracement if we're just going to round a little bit here. So we're approaching that 50% retracement, which is a good sign because, again, the way that I use fibs is to determine flags or equilibriums as the most likely scenario. And if we bounce and only get up to the 382 retracement, it favors a flag. But as soon as you get up to that 50% retracement and beyond, that's when you begin to favor the equilibrium. So if and when we top out under the all-time high, the bulls have space for a monthly higher low to form, just like Tesla did. Space for the monthly higher low, held EMA 12 yet again, keeping the bulls in control. So good sign for the bulls. You'll also notice the pattern that ever since momentum shifted, the weekends have been for the bulls. Friday, Saturday, Sunday have been favorable. So looking at the daily chart, now we're in a scenario where, again, I can't stress this enough, with trading in general, big money makes the most money when they flip from FOMO to fear and from fear to FOMO as fast as possible. We were at the low, and next thing you know, we're breaking resistances, and everybody wants bullish positions. Just like we were approaching the high, and next thing you know, we're in free fall, and the world is falling apart. So that is how trading works. So just keep that in mind because it can help you anticipate and say, okay, well, if the monthly higher low is going to be set here, then we can likely see it change really quickly and go to FOMO very quickly. So right now I know there's a lot of FOMO out there. For me personally, over the weekend, I believe Saturday night, I exited a third of my swing positions. And again, my swing positions are from the initial flush down under 30. And I sat through all this and now still sitting through this. I exited a third of my Bitcoin when 41,000 broke. I rebought it on this daily consolidation at 38.1. So I'm doing the same thing again now. I exited a third of my Bitcoin in the mid 44s, I believe it was, and I will add it back on daily consolidation. And I exited a third of Ethereum this time. I didn't the previous time because the ETH BTC chart was set up nicely, but I'll go over my game plan. So my game plan for adding these back is you have to be patient at this point because the weekly time frame at this point is a V-shaped move off the low, and we've gone almost 50% off of these lows. So the last thing we want to be doing is FOMOing. We've gotten almost 60%. Last thing you want to be doing is FOMOing and saying, oh, I just got to get in. And you buy up here before weekly consolidation. A patient bull is saying, I will enter when hourly consolidation happens, enough to see hourly RSI get oversold. And we almost got there over the weekend, but that RSI stopped in the upper 30s. I would have rebought my third position that I sold if we saw hourly oversold, but we didn't. So I didn't rebuy it. And again, it's just a game of patience. And you have to just accept that we will see hourly oversold conditions again eventually. Maybe we go up to 48,000 before that happens. But if you want good risk to reward, a patient bull is waiting for that setup. And then the strategy can be entering on hourly oversold, selling half of your position after a $2,000 bounce, and then you put your stop at break even to try and let the trade ride out longer term. And again, that's what I did on this drop on the daily. Sold half the position real quick, but then had a risk-free stop loss under that low, and it worked out. So at this point, we have a brief little daily support level. Pretty much it was just a 12-hour bull flag, but that new support is 42.8 thousand. What a real patient bull is going to do is wait for a weekly higher low. We will see weekly consolidation on Bitcoin again. It's just a question of when. So if I want to be real patient, I will look to establish a longer term swing position on a weekly higher low. So that's something that a very patient bull is just waiting for. So all about 42.8 thousand in the short term. And we started losing a bit of clarity here as far as this morning is concerned. The 15-minute equilibrium right now is very clear. But what did we have? We had a bear break with zero follow through and a bull break with zero follow through. So when that happens, scout a megaphone. And again, a megaphone is a broadening. Let's do it on the 5-minute here so we have more detail to draw it. But it's a 5-minute ascending resistance level, and it's a 5-minute descending support level. And we just ping-ponged between those levels for a bit, but now it's a 15-minute equilibrium. The 4-hour, anything above 42.8 is a 4-hour higher low. So the bulls still have complete short-term control. And again, we're seeing the strength of bulls buying. In the last video, I talked about how bulls want to see continued back burner strength to show us that every time we hit oversold on the 5-minute or the hourly, that bulls are buying those dips. And now we're seeing over the weekend, we didn't even get to hourly oversold. Bulls front ran hourly oversold conditions. And again, it's keeping that FOMO mentality in the space right now. So you have to be patient. You have to just set the clear criteria. I will enter Bitcoin if hourly RSI hits oversold. And if it doesn't, you don't enter. As far as resistance, after 46.3, next level is 46.6 and then 49.8. And again, as soon as we cleared the high of the initial bounce, 42.6, we then entered an area with a lack of resistance. There's previous support here to be watching as potential resistance at 47, which again aligns with the 50% bounce retracement on the monthly time frame. So I personally have no interest in adding any positions. I'm interested in taking some profit and adding on consolidation because again, the odds favor a weekly period of consolidation to try and establish a higher low happening some point in August. The dominance chart. The tight weekly equilibrium broke bull with zero follow through. We rejected from daily EMA 12 and now, or I should say weekly EMA 12, and now we're watching, is this a monthly bear flag? And again, back in 2017, we had a monthly bear flag on the dominance chart, allow for the last push up. That was the last leg up for the bulls before we topped out. And personally, I would love to see the altcoins continue to lead the way in the bull market. And I want to see a monthly bear flag confirmed. The only time I want to see dominance leading the way if I am a crypto bull is when there is news behind Bitcoin that justifies it leading the pack. Otherwise, I want to see the rotational game constantly going on, which we'll look at here in just a second as far as our laggard names. We want to see leaders run, then we want to see the laggards run, then we want to see Bitcoin take a leg up, then we want to see Bitcoin trade sideways within a range. And while it's trading sideways, profits flow around to pump these individual coins one at a time. Keep that profit flowing is the name of the game. Monthly inside bar forming, 3 weeks left to go, and just watching for a daily lower high on this current short-term bounce. Technically still forming weekly higher lows, so if it's going to be a monthly bear flag, we have to lose the weekly higher lows. But again, if BlackRock comes out and says, hey, we got 5 billion Bitcoin, by the way, then it's just fine by me that the dominance chart is going to spike in response to that. ETH USD, so monthly perspective, this is a better monthly bounce at this point. Why? Because the retracement is more significant. We're over 50% and we're pushing 60% at this point. So again, even if we set this lower high, we have plenty of space for a higher low to then form next time we consolidate. Volume is going to be higher this month on Coinbase compared to last month for the same reasons. Again, we can assume, we can make assumptions based on the percent of the candle that has gone by and the percent of the volume of the previous candle. Weekly, not very extended, but extended to the point where a patient bull is waiting for a weekly higher low. And it may take a while, but it will happen eventually. The daily chart is trying for a bull flag. We already had a bull flag confirm. I exited a third of my position. Again, the break even is down around 1700, but exiting a third of that in the 3100s and just locking in profit, looking at that weekly chart. Just slowly scaling out. Normally I exit half a position, but because I want to keep a position and I don't want to feel FOMO and I don't want to be left in the dust, I'm exiting a third at a time. If we see another leg up and we go to 3,500, I'm going to exit another third. If Bitcoin goes to 50,000, I'm going to exit another third. So same deal with the RSI, and I re-entered a third of the position that I sold, and it was a bit by mistake. And not by mistake, but a bit premature. So I was ready for bed. What night was this? No, I'm looking back. I was ready for bed last night. And I looked at this hourly RSI, and a member in the chat room asked me, because I said, I'm re-entering the third that I just sold in hourly oversold conditions. And a member messaged me and said, hey, have you re-entered that third yet of Ethereum? And I looked at this chart, and I saw a little bit of a lower wick, and I said, oh, we just hit hourly oversold. I need to get back in. So I rebought half of what I sold, which would be a sixth of the total position. I rebought that on Ethereum on this candle. And in hindsight, we didn't hit hourly oversold, but I was on my way to bed and it looked, oh, that's close enough. I think we're hitting hourly oversold. I'm going to enter half. And if we see another leg down, then I'll enter my other half. But I was in bed at that point. So back almost to a full position of ETH. We didn't hit hourly oversold. And again, that's just bulls front running. The hourly RSI got down to about 32. Bear flag confirmed with 0 follow through. And that marks the bottom. Falling wedges all over the place. Bitcoin gave us a nice 15-minute falling wedge yesterday to be watching. And I was just keeping an eye on this pattern right here for bulls to try and show up. And it broke bull, dropped right back down towards that support, and then saw follow through. So an initial bull break that lacked follow through, but certainly saw it later. Keep an eye on these falling wedges because they are happening fairly often. And you could make the argument that ETH was setting up a falling wedge-like pattern as well. We had a bit of a channel here. I would draw the resistance line. And again, the falling wedge pattern is just showing bear exhaustion with bear breaks lacking follow-through as bulls look to buy dips. ETH is a potential 4-hour equilibrium right now. So without even looking, I know that the fact Bitcoin hit a higher high and Ethereum has not shows me that ETH BTC is pulling back right now. The size of the bounce here is significant enough where even if we reject from 3190 and double top at that level, there's plenty of space for a 4-hour higher low, anything above 2893. If I want to be a real aggressive bull and I don't want to wait for hourly oversold, next 4-hour consolidation, I can look to try and establish a position, putting my stop under that low to keep fairly low risk. And if we form a 4-hour equilibrium that breaks bull, I then have a good entry. So again, when you're establishing your game plans, question number one is, are you going to be aggressive or conservative? Conservative, weekly high or low, or daily consolidation that is more significant. Maybe a test of daily EMA 12 is a target that you're looking for. Aggressive, you're zooming into shorter term time frames and you're using hourly oversold, or you're using 4-hour supports and trying to make entries playing off of them. So even if we reject from the 4-hour, if we set a high or low and then break bull, it's a daily bull flag confirming. Next resistance level on ETH, now that we've cleared everything nearby, we're looking at 34.42 as the next level. We will see a weekly high or low. It just may take a couple weeks. ETH BTC, monthly inside bar bull break. Great sign. Fending off monthly consolidation. Weekly equilibrium that we've been watching for a while broke bull. Daily is pulling back. So we've got a daily tightening range. Let's go to the 12-hour for an equilibrium here. So this is going to dictate momentum on the week for Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. We've got our high, low, lower high, double bottom. So 12-hour equilibrium. If this equilibrium breaks bear, we will look for ETH to lose favor, perhaps losing its fundamental burning of ETH hype that we've been seeing, and we'll look for those profits to go elsewhere. Notably the laggards. Right on cue, Litecoin is a laggard to be watching. I made a post over the weekend. Dogecoin just broke out. Watch for XRP and LTC to be laggards, because those three are laggards in terms of how this bull run has taken place over the last year. They were the last ones to go. They went fast and hard when they did go, but the major coins ran first. So Dogecoin over the weekend was breaking out, and now we've got Litecoin trying to follow. Look at the monthly here. This is an example of a weak monthly chart. Retracement size, the monthly high or low is set. We are not even in the picture of hitting the 382. Could this be a monthly bear flag? Absolutely, it's still possible. The bulls would need to get up to 222 to see even a 382 retracement. So we're going to need another 50% move here if we are going to get to the midway point of this range. Not even the midway point. But I like watching Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin because very often Ethereum shows you stronger, Bitcoin shows you the steady, Big Daddy, most important correlation with everything, and Litecoin consistently shows us weaker. So if I just look at those three coins, I now know what does a strong monthly chart look like and what does a weak monthly chart look like. And now I can compare every other altcoin, and I just have these pictures in my brain, and it helps quickly determine stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker. So this is weaker, but it's trying to play catch up. So the weekly time frame needs a trend change. So Bitcoin and Ethereum held weekly higher lows and then broke out. LTC hit a lower low, only by $1. You could consider that a double bottom. But there are altcoins out there that dropped to a clear lower low, and they've made very significant weekly bounces. But if we're going to have confidence in follow through, we have to confirm weekly trend changes for these monthly retracements to try and get back to the midway point. The weaker altcoins have work to do on the weekly time frame. So big green day today as Litecoin plays catch up. I look at the LTC BTC chart. I was watching this falling wedge. It broke bull with no follow through, back testing support, and now trying to break out, confirming a daily trend change. What does this remind me of? This reminds me of a Bitcoin hourly falling wedge that we played on the daily consolidation to establish the daily high or low. Because how did that falling wedge play out? We broke it bull with no follow through and no volume. I was posting on Twitter, this bull break is not convincing. So just a bull break sideways, back test support, and go. And the Litecoin bulls are looking at that and saying, please do the same thing. Bull break sideways, no follow through, back test, and go. We have to break 36.59 and 37.74 for a breakout. And then we just zoom out and scout a weekly lower high, but it will at least be a short-term shift in momentum. And you want to be looking at enough charts and have a good enough memory that you can be making these associations. Hey, I remember looking at this chart. This played out very similarly on this chart. And again, the reason that I was looking for Bitcoin and crypto to set monthly higher lows was because that was going on in my brain because of my coverage of growth stocks. And part of the reason I exited Bitcoin on the way up, granted a little bit too early, but because the USMJ space gave us the exact same Wyckoff distribution pattern into monthly consolidation. And TCNNF is a ticker that helped me because it broke bear long before Bitcoin. And I said, that is the same chart. I'm going to take some profit. So the more charts you're looking at, the better your mental library for recall is, because patterns repeat themselves and human nature and emotions repeat themselves as well. So LTC BTC has to break 36.59 here. It's a little double top at the moment. Big day, but a lot of follow through needed. FTT USD. So here's an example of a stronger monthly chart. Look at the retracement all the way up to 65% plus. Tons of space for a monthly higher low to form. Volume, can't be confident it's going to increase this month yet because this volume right now is less than a third. It looks like it's going to be increasing, but it's more convincing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Volume was higher on FTT back in September. Nope, we're not there yet. Back in July than it was on those other coins. But look for clues. Lead bulls. If lead bulls don't break their all-time high, then Bitcoin and Ethereum and other alts aren't going to break their all-time high. If these lead bulls that have made more significant ground back, if they see an all-time high and Bitcoin's trading at 54,000, we can say, okay, probability needle shifts a little bit in favor of the possibility that Bitcoin can break to an all-time high as well. Weekly time frame, little higher low of support, break of resistance, and just racing back up towards 63.21. Daily time frame is in beast mode. Again, just no opportunity for bulls to have any comfortable entry. The hourly RSI got down to the mid 30s. That was it. We had a little hourly higher low and massive volume spike to see the 12-hour bull flag confirmed. 12-hour EMA 12 support has been holding this entire run. So that's a short-term guide for a number of reasons. Even if you don't want more bullish position, you can look at this and say, well, when 12-hour EMA 12 is lost, we're probably going to see a shift in the market environment and see more notable consolidation than we've seen at any point recently. So I use that as a guide, even if I'm not going to try and trade a name and say, well, I'm not looking for any more bullish entries, but recognizing that shift shows us a change in the market environment. Just like if 5-minute oversold bounces keep seeing V-shaped moves, and then we see a 5-minute oversold bounce result in a lower high and lower low, we know the short-term market environment has shifted because the same signals that have been working time and time and time again aren't working again in the short term. FTT BTC, monthly higher low set, possible monthly bull flag, and great correlation. This is in the spotlight as far as correlated with the US dollar pairing, and that's the ideal scenario for a lead altcoin bull. US dollar directly correlated, doing the same things as the BTC pairings on the way up. Nice inside bar bull break. Last, I want to look at AXS. If you are a full-time crypto trader, you want to be watching this one and comfortable with it because it often is not correlated, which is great because 90% of these coins are all doing the same thing at the same time to varying degrees. Some are stronger, some are weaker, but they're doing roughly the same thing. And AXS keeps giving us, I look at my list, and so many times it'll be a red list where everything's consolidating, and AXS is the only green name. So it's nice to have something that doesn't correlate because it can give you different setups if you aren't confident in what the entire crypto space is doing in the short term. So the monthly is on a massive breakout. We were watching the potential of a daily head and shoulders where it's just the left shoulder, the head, and if we were to top out here and roll over and break 37.36, it would be a notable shift in momentum. But bulls are holding on at this point. I would say if 40 continues to hold, 40.10 to be exact, then the bulls are just fine on the daily chart. Lose 40.10, and bulls need to be cautious of weekly consolidation. Inside bar last week, inside bar so far the first day this week, and if that were to break bear, weekly consolidation underway. But again, still holding these little higher lows. So 40 is a key short-term support. Resistance is 47.49, 50.50, and then 53.50. So just little higher lows each time. So there's plenty of other coins to be looking at. Certainly strong ones out there. And as far as today, ICP has had great moves in both directions. As far as volatility is concerned, percentage moves, ICP is one of the most significant movers. I can see Litecoin. Again, when I wake up in the morning, I organize this list from strongest to weakest as far as percentages. And now I can see Litecoin has made big moves since I sat on the computer first thing this morning, because it is no longer anywhere near the bottom. It should be up here, and it's just leapt all of these names in terms of strength since this morning. All right, establish those game plans. Aggressive bears, you're just looking for top fishing plays with wiggle room, because we very often see bull breaks with a lack of follow through, marking temporary tops. So here in this example, we got an hourly bull flag confirmed with a lack of follow through. So you got to have a small enough position size to allow a significant amount of wiggle room to allow for a bull break with no follow through to not stop you out. And again, the only bears at this point that I'd be scouting would be hedging positions, or just if you are a more successful bear trader than bull trader and really confident in your abilities. Because the last thing you want to be doing is constantly fighting the bulls and then just getting a bunch of little stop outs. There's plenty of rising wedges to watch out there. And this was a rising wedge that I had drawn that did break bear on Bitcoin. So you can be drawing rising wedges. They have been breaking bull. Ethereum broke an hourly rising wedge bull into this move, but they sometimes break bear as well. So just worth keeping an eye on them. And again, just we know weekly consolidation will be inevitable at some point in the next couple of weeks, which will have aggressive bears scouting those positions and which will have patient bulls patiently waiting for weekly consolidation. Best of luck out there. I'm going to continue holding my swing position. Again, if we keep following through, I will exit into strength, but I will be holding through a lot of these moves because I care about the monthly time frame is why I establish these positions. So that is the most important factor for me. I'd like to be out a good bit of my positions for the next time we see weekly consolidation and then reload them at weekly higher lows. I do believe there'll be a lot of bulls buying weekly consolidation from here. You'll notice in all of my analysis, I didn't say a word about the Senate. I didn't say a word about this crypto bill because it means absolutely nothing to me in the short term. Big picture, long-term fundamentals, absolutely. You should be paying attention. Call your senators, do all that stuff. But as far as short-term trading, doesn't matter in the slightest. Price action is king, and that's just noise. Feel free to ask any questions, do good things out there, and we will check in soon.